Hello.
Hello, good morning. I can make a short introduction and then we go straight with the conversation. Well, it's a pleasure for me to be here today at South Summit. It's incredible, the atmosphere. I think anybody who could be... I was thinking when I was entering South Summit that this is the typical place in which once you enter, you feel great. You don't know why, but the atmosphere is so strong. And sharing with Pau this conversation is really a wonderful opportunity. We know each other since a long time ago. I admire him very, very much from every point of view. Before entering into, because today we are going to talk about teams, we are going to talk about leadership, we are going to talk about success, failure, habits. But before entering into that, Pau, well, first of all, I wanted to congratulate you for the, I think in English it is the jersey retirement ceremony that was unbelievable.
Thank you.
And these days, Pau, I was reading again a little bit your book, and also when I was watching when it happened, the ceremony, and it's incredible how humble you are, Paul. For me, it's something that is unbelievable. And reading your book, because when you speak about others, because it's not only about Kobe, when I was reading, when you were speaking about Fernando Martín, Juan Carlos Navarro, it's unbelievable how generous, how humble you are. So really, it's your professional career has been incredible, but you as a person, I think, are even more.
Well,
really.
Thank you, Pablo. Thank you. I appreciate it a lot. We share the admiration, a mutual admiration, and I love, that we got to know each other and everything that you have accomplished, and how proud I am as a Spaniard of your work and your leadership and your accomplishments. So, to me, I mean, we're going to dive into the leadership and team. But one of the things, coming from the sports world and understanding what a successful team means is also recognizing everyone. It's not about you. No matter how great you are, you need a strong team. You need your teammates to be empowered, to feel important, to feel appreciated. So I think opportunities, when you're recognized, they're great opportunities to recognize others. And that's what when you have a platform, when you have when I wrote the book or the jersey retirement, all you can do for me, that's at least how I feel, how I see it, it's to thank others. Because you couldn't have done it alone. No matter how great you have been or you have accomplished, it's important to really acknowledge those people that were with you along the way. And you're going to miss some.
Yeah.
It's not that you're going to be able to accomplish or acknowledge everyone. But to me, it's really important to share the spotlight, to share the success.
And how were you feeling during that ceremony, Paul? Because
it was incredible.
Because it was so incredible.
Yeah, it was one
For
of the
me,
most
it was because you were not crying. I was.
Well, I did cry a little bit. I did cry a little bit. I couldn't contain the emotion. It was very overwhelming. I mean, it was a build-up for months, pretty much, to that moment of seeing my jersey, my name going up with those Laker greats and next to Kobe's jersey as well. So it was a lot of emotion.
Yeah.
My family came, my friends came from Spain. It was a beautiful moment. My family, again, it was just a lot. But at the same time, I had to really work on my speech diligently, so the words and the word would kind of take over and not my emotions.
Yeah.
Even though I was able to share it pretty naturally, it came from really, reading it, working it, saying it, and that's kind of what, preparation, right? I mean, you got to do the work.
No, it was great. And about teams, and you were mentioning before what for me about teams is really unbelievable is that when you create the right atmosphere, when you create the right dynamic inside a team, the team is much more than the addition of the individualities.
Agreed.
So you can achieve things that you could have never imagined. When there is this very good in the team, when there is this very good atmosphere, when there is very good, you can achieve things unthinkable. You can achieve unthinkable things when a team really works. That is my experience, and it is much more so. Of course, if each of the individual each of the person is very good, Of course, that's necessary, but the strength of the team is much more than the addition of the strengths of each of the people involved. No, and that is what for me, and this is applicable, of course, in sports, in business, or when you think about a startup. Here we are in a very entrepreneurial atmosphere. Pau and I, we also share a big interest in entrepreneurship. Of course, at Summit, we are also Endeavor patronate board members both, and so we share this interest in entrepreneurship from every point of view. But this idea of the team being much stronger and achieving incredible things, even unthinkable things, for me is something really the case.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's something I think extremely powerful when you, and one of the things that in sports, or I mean, I'm sure in companies too, in any human team, you talk about culture, right? You talk about identity, culture, creating that atmosphere that you're talking about, that it's just enhancing, that it's stimulating, that it just brings everyone up, and as you said, the summum of the individuals just surpasses what the math would do. And I think when you create a culture of hard work, of excellence, perseverance, of accountability, of safety, respect, just really pushing everyone, one another, and complementing each other, and not set any boundaries. You know, one of the things that we like to say in our group is also the dream big. You know, we dream big, we have goals, we're going to do our best, we're going to work together, we're going to complement each other, and let's see how far we can get, you know, and that's how sometimes the results will kind of take care of themselves. Definitely.
Other element that for me is very relevant when you think about teams, and sometimes this is, you could have the tendency not to have this in mind. When you think about a team in a company, it is very important also to have at least one that we could call inconformist. No, in Spanish I would say incómodo. It is very, because sometimes when there is somebody who is incómodo, you could have the temptation of saying, well, this person should not be part of the team. But this idea of having somebody who is incómodo, I think is also very, very positive when you are thinking about a team, because it tends to make the team better. I don't know, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think great teams are made also of individuals that are very different or different from each other. They don't have all to think the same way, act the same way, or almost, if you will, play by the rules. There's always one or two individuals that are a little, or groups that are edgier, right? That create that sometimes necessary friction to push boundaries, to think outside the box, and to create maybe that stress that it will make us consider something that we wouldn't have otherwise. So.
This is something in companies, and if we think about the startups, it's the same. I would say friction, you were mentioning, no? A certain level of friction or tension, I think is quite positive. What is the right level? What is too much? Right. This is what is always difficult to say. But a certain level of tension, of friction, I think is quite positive, no?
I agree.
And this is something that is absolutely relevant. And when you think about a team, to be some tension for me is positive. Of course, if there is too much tension, then you stop being a team.
Right.
No, but to have some tension and in a certain way some internal critic in every way, I think this is something that can be very helpful, very positive for the company. Yeah,
I couldn't agree more. And that's where probably when taking us to the next section of our conversation, that's where the leadership comes in, to be able to manage, you know, those levels of tensions and intervene when necessary, and overlook all that, right? And one of my questions to you that I wanted to ask you is, you know, being the CEO of Inditex, a company with thousands and thousands of employees here in Spain but worldwide, how do you manage that? Like, obviously, I'm come from the sports world. Our team is maybe 12 to 15 players, plus the coaching staff and training staff. Obviously, as a player, you're part of that group. But you know, my team is 15 people. You know, and I've been a leader of a team, and I had to manage those sometimes individuals in sports, egos is definitely, but I would assume also as in the executive world, in the company's world, you also have to deal with that, right? So how do you do that? What's the key?
It's very difficult to answer this question very precisely, no? But what I can tell you, well, first of all, when you think about big companies, it is much more relevant than anywhere this idea of that this is never a one-man show. Right. You are talking about lots of people with very relevant responsibilities. Then when you think about leadership and how leadership should be, there are many angles, no, about how a leader should behave, how of course you need to have a vision about where you want the company to go. Of course you need to take care about the people. I think something very relevant for leadership is that you cannot treat everybody the same way. There are people that probably you need to challenge more. There are people that perhaps are more sensible and you need to be much more careful about how to deal with them. So this is also something. There are people that are not aware of the real potential, and then your role as a leader is for these people to flourish and to give room to this real potential that they are not even aware about that potential. I think, well, there are many elements, no? You need to be reliable, you need to be very honest, internally, externally, to have values in the way you lead. For me, that is absolutely key, and this is something perceived in any organization. Sometimes, well, I'm saying many different ideas, no? But sometimes you need to take difficult decisions. What people want from you are decisions, so what people don't accept is you not taking decisions. So, well, there are many elements, but I would like to hear your views too, Pau.
Yeah, of course. To me, as you said, I think some of the best coaches that I've been around or that I've been a part of in teams are the ones that understand how to motivate and treat kind of different players in a different way to get the best out of them and to fulfill their role to the best of their ability. You know, when you're able and capable of doing that, and Phil Jackson, to me, is the best of the best that I've seen, that I've been a part of. Popovich is also really good, still practices, still coaching. So I think in order to identify, okay, what motivates you, and how do I have to address you in particular, in difference with others, you know, and understanding where you come from, where your values.
Diversity is key. It also, when you are mentioning diversity from every point of view.
Yeah, and that's what makes teams special, right? The diversity. People, if everyone was a great scorer and wanted to score and shoot every shot, it would be a horrible team. It wouldn't be a team. You wouldn't have enough balls to play the sport, right? So you have to complement each other, and understanding that for that you need diversity. You need to have people with different skill sets, and then make them work together, believe in the team, believe in the mission, buy in, and then pursue that ultimate goal, which is to win, right?
And for example, other element which is very relevant here, that we are at South Summit with entrepreneurial community and with a lot of entrepreneurs. When you start a company and then you start to grow and you move to the next stage of the company, of course you need to bring new talent to the company, and for the leader, in this case the founder, this ability to really integrate these people coming from outside in the company, sometimes changing a lot of things, that is also that something that for me is extremely relevant, and sometimes it is not particularly easy. I am seeing in different companies that you need to bring, but particularly when you are thinking about startups, not so big companies, and you need to bring somebody from outside because you understand that for the next stage of the company, you don't have all the management capacity that you would like to have, and it is the role of the leader to integrate those people who come from outside, sometimes even needing to take difficult decisions about people that could have been working with you for many years. But this is also something that you need to be, as a leader, very conscious.
Sure. I think as a leader, as an individual that wants to grow and thrive, I think it's very important to understand what are your shortcomings. You know, there's not one individual that knows everything. No matter how good, bright, smart, hardworking you are, there's always someone smarter that work just as hard and then can complement you. So for me, what I've been able to do, and that's one of the best advices that I've always got, is surround yourself with smart people, with people that know more than you, that you can learn from, that will stimulate you in a goal that you also want to be a part of. You know, something that really excites you, right? And that's how you build teams, how you grow. And it just, to me, that's one of the best. Again, Magic Johnson said that to us. Kobe Bryant, my good brother, just said that to me. Just, you know, I want to be surrounded by smarter people than me. I don't want to be, when you're in the room and you feel like you're the smarter guy in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Yeah.
You know? So put yourself in rooms with smarter people than you are. That you're open to listening, that you're open to ask questions, to learn from, to complement each other. That's exciting. That's stimulating. That's what you want to be. And that's kind of, you know, this room. I would encourage you, all of you, but also applaud you for being in this type of environment where it's stimulating. You know.
Yeah, and this is a risk in every company. I would say the risk of beginning to feel that you know everything. So when you are leading a company, this is a risk. When you begin not to accept criticism, this could happen. So to stay humble and to not only to accept, but also to create the atmosphere in which people can challenge you when you are the leader, that is absolutely key. So the people to feel able to challenge you in any decision, I think that is extremely healthy. Sometimes I mention one example that has nothing to do with business, but is applicable, and it is that James Cameron, he was the director of Titanic, the movie.
Of course.
I don't know in English, you say Titanic or Titanic?
Titanic.
Titanic, sorry. So he was the director of the Titanic movie, and then in one interview they were asking him what was the reason why the Titanic sank. And he was saying that it was not an iceberg, that it was arrogance, because they thought that it was indestructible, this boat. So this arrogance is what made the Titanic sink. So whenever you stop being humble, whenever you begin to behave with arrogance, this is clearly the end. That is why to create these atmospheres, this culture in which people can challenge you, even if you are the leader, for me is absolutely essential. And there is a risk in every company. It can be a small company, it can be a big company, and particularly this risk is even more the case when you are successful. That is why sometimes it's very good for companies to go through a not so good moment in their life, for everybody to be conscious that you cannot lose touch with the reality.
I think it's inevitable. I think every company, every person, individual goes through ups and downs, and the downs are just as important as the ups, or even more, because they're opportunities for growth. I don't know if you guys saw this clip when they were asking Giannis Antetokounmpo from Milwaukee, who got to be pretty viral, very viral, when they were asking, they were the #1 seed in the Eastern Conference this year, and they were projected to like Denver, who's the #1 seed in the Western Conference, to be in the finals. They lost against Miami, the team in the finals now. And they asked him, you consider this season a failure, or this loss a failure? It's like, failure? What do you mean? In sports, you win and you lose. And when you lose, there is an opponent that can play better than you and beat you. But that's an opportunity for you to grow and get back to, out there and to the gym and get your work. And then the next day or the next year, the next season, you have another opportunity to play, and you will win or you will lose. But there's no such a thing of failure. When we talk about failure, it's a hard word. Hard word, because it's just somebody else won. In sports, it's very clear: you win and you lose, right? And probably in business, there's also better and worse moments where the company is doing better and but there's always points of reflection, points of measurement that allows you the opportunity, especially the difficult ones. You might make mistakes. Good, you make mistakes. We're humans. We should make mistakes, and it's how we face those moments. How we get up, we learn, we come together. We don't point fingers. We don't. Oh, it's your fault. It's your fault. No. Hey, we're in this together. Let's figure this out. This is an opportunity for us to be better. And that's. I think that's the right approach and the right mindset to have.
Inside a team, there is But later I will ask you one thing, because after this comment inside a team, there is one rule, not that failure, you always need to speak in singular, so it's mine, and success is ours. No? That is very healthy habit. I would say in running companies, not habit in terms of food or whatever, but very healthy. Pau, now you are quite in contact with a lot of startups, and as I am, because of different reasons, and helping and even investing, no, in some of them. Coming from your experience, having conversations with many different entrepreneurs, I don't know, any advice, any general comment, any specific things you would like to share?
Sure. Well, I mean, first of all, you know, I'm so interested and passionate also about entrepreneurship, because I've considered myself that I've been an entrepreneur in a way. You know, going to the NBA, going to the US, when I did in 2001, I was the second Spanish player to ever do it. It was something that it was not as normal as usual as it is today to see a Spanish player or international player in the NBA. So to me, I kind of relate a lot with entrepreneurs that have a vision, that have a passion, that go all in into something, that believe and bet on themselves out of nothing, and they figure it out, and they can create something incredible, right? So I want to be part of that system and support entrepreneurs, just like I want to support athletes, because they go through, they're similar kind of profiles, because they go through ups and downs. Athletes at 18, 19 years old, all of a sudden, boom, you're a professional, and you make huge amounts of money that you don't know how to handle. I'm talking about, you know, the ones that are lucky to play in big sports. And so, but then also your career is very short. And all of a sudden at 25, because of an injury, or, you know, maybe you're not as talented or as productive as you thought you were going to be, your career at 30, 35, I was lucky to retire at 41. You know, your career is done, but now you have the rest of your life. So you have to prepare yourself in order to deal with what's next. And that's kind of what I've tried to do with my team, is kind of build a team, invest in things, build things, whether it's a foundation, whether it's now what we call the Gasol 16 Ventures, you know, as far as investing in companies in sports and health and wellness, companies here in Spain that we like to continue to help on their growth path. So all these things, to me, that's how you are successful in a way, and you prevent, you know, a potential predictable situation of failure or hardship with a lot of the athletes or a lot of the entrepreneurs they have to deal with and face, right? Not every company will work. Not every company will be a story of success. You know, there'll be a lot of ups and downs. And entrepreneurs, they're entrepreneurs. They go all in, and they, you know, they go from one thing to the other. Let's sell this one now. Let's start a new one. The new one might work, might not. Well, let's start a new one. You have that spirit, which I love. Which you know, that's to me, that's making an impact in this life. So, but yeah, you just gotta.
I am very much in contact now with the entrepreneurial also ecosystem, particularly here in Spain, but not only. And I am impressed. I was not aware of to be honest, of how strong, how many people are doing incredible things. The passion, the knowledge. Also, everybody I see is extremely humble. I would love to help everybody as much as I can, but well, that's impossible, no? Because the day is what it is. But I am really impressed, because at the same time you see in all these companies many challenges. You see the management challenge quite often. You see how to move to the next step, which is always you don't see, because we were supposed also to talk about failure. You don't see the fear of failure, because it is intrinsic when you create a startup. Sometimes this fear of failure in companies is very harmful, because if you are always afraid of failure, you stop innovating. In startups, you don't see this, but of course you see many challenges from every point of view. But globally, what I see is an incredible strength, passion, more and more people. And then when you think about the ecosystem globally, I think is really impressive. This is what I would say, no? But
Very
very impressive. And about failure, Pau, anything?
Yeah, I mean, again, when we talked about failure and dealing with the downs and the lows, that's why to me it's very important to always kind of stay grounded, to have a good environment around yourself, to keep certain perspective, because with success and with the ups and downs, one of the things that some of my teammates also use is never too high, never too low. You want to stay as level as you can. Whether you raise a 100 million euro round and you think you're on top of the world, or as an athlete you have a big contract and all of a sudden you have millions of dollars or euros in your pocket and you feel like, whoa, and everybody knows you and it's great, but you have to have perspective, because today it's you, but tomorrow it's you or her or him or whoever, you know what I'm saying? So,
How you meditate, don't you?
I do. Meditation is important.
Every day.
Yes, every day.
Every day. Yeah. I don't do it, but I think I will start.
Well, good. I would. Well, honesty is the first step.
I don't do it formally, but in a way, I meditate.
Yeah, but meditation doesn't have to be like so grand and like where you have to be in a room and you have to set this and the music or the session or the incense or the pillow. It can be just a moment by yourself in a chair,
in a way,
closing your eyes and just breathing and focusing on your breath. You do that for 2 or 3 minutes. All of a sudden, your system just calms down. Your heart rate drops a little. You focus more. You see what your mind is what's going on up there. You see the noise, right? So hey, that was 2 or 3 minutes. I meditated today. It's not like you have to sit for 20 minutes. And you have to make a big deal, which is like, I have to go work out for an hour. That you need a trainer really to make you work out. No, this is something that you can have the enough and build that self-discipline and also see the effects, the benefits. So I think it's not, anybody can do it. Anybody can get 1-2 minutes a day, and you start there, and then you see, this actually is very helpful or healthy.
Okay. I think we could stay longer, but I think we need to continue with the schedule of the event. It has been great to share this conversation with you. I hope that we have said at least 1 or 2 things that could be useful, and really thank you everybody.
Thank you everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.